Okay, y'all, back again. Scott Emerson again. Bad hair day. I'm back with the propositions being proffered to you to vote next week in early voting for the city charter changes. We're trying to clean up the language in the city charter. It's old and outdated. We're cleaning all that up. I've already done A through, let's see, we got all the way through O, I believe. Yep, we got all the way through O. So all we have left is P, Q, R, S, and T. Man, it's a lot of stuff to vote on. It's going to be real easy if you go vote yes on all of them. The ones that might give you some, wow, what is that about, are usually state mandated and not our charters doing. And that's because we had two lawyers in the room when we were doing it, or when they were doing it, and they always have to complicate things. Sorry, lawyers, but yeah, I'm talking about you. All right, so we did City Proposition O. We're now in City Proposition P. You're going to vote on this. It's going to say amending the charter of the City of Big Spring, and you're going to get to choose yes or no. So amending the charter of the City of Big Spring to require a creation. Oh, nope, already done that. I did P. Require a creation of the Charter Review Committee every 4 years for the purpose of reviewing the city charter. Did that. City Proposition Q, by revising the process for making a claim against the city. All right, they've cleaned that up. You're going to be able to do it. You know, they say you can't sue City Hall and win, but you can always make a claim, and we cleaned that up, I believe, on how you do that. City Proposition R is to change the city charter by revising the recall process. Now, I know if you'll think about the last recall, we had a problem with somebody out of a council person's district filing a recall petition when they didn't live in that district. And the attorney found, because of the way TML, Texas Municipal League, reads it, he felt like they couldn't do that. So the people running the recall had to go find somebody in his district to file for the recall. And then anybody can circulate that petition. And that's how you recall someone. First of all, they need to have done something wrong. Second of all, you have to go get a certain amount of signatures. And this cleans up who can file for recall and who can circulate the petition. And that way we won't have any more, because the way it was written and the way it was interpreted were different. Now they're not different anymore. So City Proposition S, to reduce the number of council persons necessary to call a special meeting from 3 council persons to 1 council person. So we probably had a time when 1 council person needed to call something and couldn't get a hold of others. Or think about this now, let's say you called 1 city council person and he didn't agree with you, or she didn't agree with you. And then you called 2 more council persons and they did agree with you. And so y'all asked to have something put on the agenda, a special meeting. Well, you've also just violated the Open Meetings Act, because 4 of you were in discussion about city business, and that's a violation. So they've changed this city charter to where just 1 city councilman, and they're all equally important. I don't care where you live. District 1's as important as 6, as important as 5, and we know that. So that's what it's changing. Anybody can call a special meeting. And then City Proposition T, and this is probably the most important one that I personally want you to vote for. This is amending the charter of the City of Big Spring by adding provisions for initiative and referendum. Initiative and referendum. What's that mean? Well, that's a legal fancy term of saying the citizens can override the council. Now, we elect council to represent us, and that's why I'm always after y'all to know your council person, know their phone number, know their email, know their text, call them, talk to them, see them outside, meet them, tell them the way you think, because we didn't elect them because their opinion was right. We elected them to express our opinion. So if you live in District 1 and you call Nick Ornelas and tell him the way you think, and I call him and tell him the way I think, and they're different, Nick has to correlate in his head, and if it was me, I would be talking to a lot of my constituents to see what the majority wanted. It's kind of like a poll almost. But let's say something goofy gets done, like the city council adopts the National Maintenance Code, which almost happened. It got voted on once and passed just 2 meetings ago. And enough people read the code, the National Maintenance Code, or I think that's the title of it. Anyway, it basically made all of our city ordinances outdated and defunct, and gave a whole new set of ordinances. And it was going to make it to where if you had some peeling paint and a broken window, I could just, if I was a code enforcement officer, I could just walk in your house. If I saw something illegal, I could just call the law. If I invaded your privacy and saw something, then I'm really under a legal requirement to say something if I'm a city employee. So that, that's kind of like a little overbearance to me, and I took offense with it, and so did some other people. But anyway, it got removed. But let's say it didn't. Let's say it got passed. And then, you've got an elected official that uses that power to attack an enemy, or to get even, just for vengeance, does that. That would have allowed him to given him a lot more teeth and a lot more power to jack with you. And so I'm glad it's gone. But let's say it passed and the city of Big Spring just got in an uproar about it. They could circulate a petition and make it get put on a ballot, and then override the city council's decision and change the law back to the way it was. It'd be a process, but at least it's a process, which we don't have now. So the only option we have now, if council does something stupid, is put in a new council or recall them, and then put a new council in place and hope they reverse what the previous council did. So, and if you think council can't make a mistake, you're wrong. The one that comes to my mind always is they passed an ordinance that if you had a sign on your building, but that the business portrayed on that sign had gone out of business, you had to take a spray paint can and paint over the sign. And they just looked like they were graffitied. They were all over town. Code enforcement actually enforced that before somebody realized it was a violation of state law, national law, and everything else. Sorry, you got a lot of power, city, but painting over somebody's sign wasn't one of them, and they had to go back and rescind that. So that's just my example of showing you that council can make a mistake, and that's as anybody can. I'm not begrudging anybody making a mistake. The people just need a way to fix it when it's wrong. And that's what initiative and referendum is. I suggest we vote yes to all of these. Number one, it hadn't been updated in 20 years. It's still showing we have 5 city councilmen and we have 7. Number two, each councilman got to put somebody on this board that made all of these. And then there were 2 lawyers in the room who made sure it was all legalese and everything was straight with the state. So you and I, we can go back and watch those meetings on mybigspring.com under media, and then find the charter committee, and there's a lot of meetings, and they stayed a lot of hours, and I'm proud of everyone that sat on that board and hammered through this. And if I had a list of their names, I'd name them, but they're all people who have been involved in the community, have served as council people or in some kind of position of community before, and so they were put on by their council members and approved by the whole council. So it's pretty much a agreed on thing. So y'all go vote next week. Starts Monday. I would love if every person in the city went and voted. You're all, this is all part of y'all. There's also a county proposition up that raises sales tax right outside the city limits of Coahoma, Big Spring, and Forsyth. brings the tax there up to 8.25%. I'd suggest that if you see that on your ballot, you vote yes. But if you see that on your ballot, then you don't need to hear about the city charter, because you're not going to see them. If you're voting for the county prop, you're not going to see the city. If you're voting for the city props, you're not going to see the county. So good luck, y'all, and I hope I helped a little bit. You can do your own research if you don't like my answers or my explanations of why some of this stuff was done, and I hope you do. I hope you do go research it. I hope you get involved. Heck, I hope you run. I hope you run for city council or mayor or county judge, county commissioner, whatever you'd like. Get involved in your local politics. School board, run for school board. You've seen people all over the United States attacking their school boards over critical race theory and gender neutrality and all that stuff. You want to make sure it doesn't happen in Big Spring? Get on school board, and you will. Forsyth, Coahoma, same way. Thank y'all. Get involved in your local politics. It's the only way you're ever going to change anything, unless you do something stupid, and we don't want that to happen. So thanks, y'all. Sorry, I hope I didn't bore you. This one's over 11 minutes long, and I know you're tired of my voice. Thanks. Bye.